day I brought him another book. I don't know exactly how long it took, but one fine day, right before my very eyes, I couldn't believe it. To my surprise, I saw what I thought was his right eye blink. I turned another page. I started to think, maybe, just maybe, he's starting to breathe. My plan is working. He just needs to read. So I turned, and I turned, and I turned those pages, and pretty soon his whole body swayed, and he moved his head, then he moved his hands. I think he began to understand. It's as plain as the nose right here on my face. Part of the deal for the whole human race. We must use our gifts in every way that we can. And to be cool, you must understand exactly what you're supposed to do. First thing on the list, stay in school. Learn to read and speak and write. Please do your homework every night. Because no one can breathe if they don't have a nose. And you can't have a life if you're outside cold. Froze. Reginald Edward Anthony Davis. Thank you guys. Brer Rabbit and Brer Fox. Brer Rabbit and Brer Fox were pretty good friends. But Brer Rabbit had started dating Mrs. Possum. Now Miss Possum, she liked both Brer Rabbit and Brer Fox. But Brer Rabbit, he got to spend a little bit more time with Miss Possum. And Brer Fox came up with a devastating idea. Brer Fox, knowing that Brer Rabbit had medical ability, he pulled a trick. He pulled a trick and he went home and fell out on his floor. He told the neighbors, run, go get Brer Rabbit, go get Brer Rabbit. And he laid himself out like something was wrong with him, like he was ill. But Brer Rabbit said, I'm not going to go over there and see old Brer Fox. The Brer Fox, he's trying to trick me. I know what he wants to do. He wants to get over here and make time with you, Miss Possum. Now, I just can't have that. Well, Miss Possum says, if you don't go help him, you won't be able to make time with me at all. Brer Rabbit did what Brer Rabbit had to do. He grabbed his bag and he went to see old Brer Fox. And there Brer Fox was, laying right out on the ground, looking like he was dead past Sunday morning. Brer Rabbit looked. Brer Rabbit sniffed. Brer Rabbit listened. And he heard that tick-tick. He knew what was up. I don't know if he's really ill. And I can't tell if somebody is sick or dying until I hear that death wail. And he looked at him. And Brer Fox, not knowing what to do, he, whoa! And that's when Brer Rabbit kicked him. And left him there. And went on back with Miss Possum and spent the rest of their days. The end. You know how you never have people what you got? Always seeing something that you think you should have because somebody else got it. But it was even more difficult back in the days. In these days, people were called by what they did. And there was a man that was such. He was a woodcutter. And by his name, you know he cut wood. And he would cut that wood out there and he'd cord it up, wrap it, rope, have those cords on his shoulders, and he'd walk through the village singing, wood for sale, wood for sale, who's gonna buy my wood? It's all Adam's fault. Wood for sale, wood for sale, who's gonna buy my wood? It's all Adam's fault. Well, he would sell his cords of wood, take the money that he made, go buy some vegetables, make his way home, sleep for the night, wake up in the morning, go back, chop, cut wood, make it into cords, put those cords on his shoulder, and walk through the village. Wood for sale, singing a pitiful song. Wood for sale, who's gonna buy my wood? It's all Adam's fault. Now the king, he had a balcony that overlooked seeing most of the village square. He can hear this pitiful cry coming from far out in the wood, making his way all the way into the village, selling the wood amongst the people. Then he make his way. Now this happens so often, and the king thought, what's he mean? It's all Adam's fault. He told his men, go get that woodsman and bring him here. I must speak to him. The woodsman was brought close to the king, and he bowed a deep bow. My liege! He said, stand upright. I want to know why it is that you blame Adam. You're always saying wood for sale, it's all Adam's fault. What are you speaking of? Well, king, and said the woodsman, king, we have paradise here. The world can provide everything we need, and we'd have been just fine if Adam hadn't taken that apple and ate it. You blame Adam for your condition. Well, it's Adam's fault. Come, men. He clapped his hands. He demanded that his men go and get that man the finest robes. And take off the tattered clothes that he was wearing and put on the robes of a king. And take off his shoes that he was walking through the village with, and put on the slippers that he can walk into the palace. He says, come in. And inside the palace, all of this is yours. Food whenever you want to eat. Fruit is always prepared for you. There is a great tub that you may bathe in. There's all kinds of luxuries. Anything that you want, you have at your hand from this day on. The king clapped his gigantic hands together. And it was so. The man lived in luxury. He and the king would ride horses all the way out in the field. They would sometimes take swims into the river. They would come back and eat great, great meals. The king said, listen, I'm going to have to go to the neighboring village and speak with that king. I'll probably be gone about 3 days. During the time that I'm gone, you are as me. This is all yours. Take good care. But remember, do not open the closet door at the end of the hall. Enjoy yourself. And the king was gone. Immediately, the man just ate. He laid around on the sofa. He went out and he rode horses. And he swam to his heart's delight. Came back in the house, and he was on his way into the room when Did you hear that? What could it possibly? Where? He went to the door and turned the knob. Open. Inside that door were all the old rags that he had given the king, and said, oh, wow! Oh, suddenly, a little tiny mouse ran out of that door, and the man began to chase it. He was trying to catch the mouse. The mouse was running all through the house, but he had those royal slippers on, and he couldn't get grip. So he pulled the royal slippers off so he could get grip on the ground. Running after that mouse, the pants now were too long. So he pulled the royal pants off, and he continued to chase the mouse. And the royal robe was dangling around his feet. He felt he could run faster, so he pulled off the royal robe, and he's chasing the mouse all around the palace. Having removed all his clothes, he was completely naked when he ran up against the door, and the king opened it. Why are you naked in the palace? King, it was the royal mouse that royal mouse asked you not to open the closet door. King clapped his hands. His men were there in the blink of an eye. They came with all the old rags and all of the old things that he had, the cords of wood. He put them on and set him outside of the palace doors. That was the end of his time in the palace. The next day, the King is standing over his balcony, looking out and seeing the woodsman carrying his cords of wood, walking through the village, screaming, "Wood for sale, wood for sale, who's gonna buy my wood? It's all my fault. Wood for sale." All right, thank you. So my daughter, Tiffany Pearl, is now 16. In those very early days when she was a little tiny, just that big, I could sit her right here in my lap, play the drum. I'd make up all kinds of stories and songs for her. We would just play the drum and sing along. Our alphabet, we sing the alphabet song, the hello song, every kind of nursery rhyme you could imagine. But we would play that way. She continued to grow. She grew to the point where she wouldn't play with me. She always played with her friends out there in the front yard, going round and round in a circle, just falling down for no apparent reason. I understood that she had become a secret agent, a fairy princess. She had magical powers. They would sing and dance, and when it started to rain, they would wish the rain away. They had all kinds of little things they did. They watched the lady with the black dress and the elephants jumping over the fences. And then there was one, his name was Commander Demander. He had very special powers. He was like their drill sergeant. He taught them to put their left foot in and take their left foot out and shake it all about and do some type of a hokey and pokey and turn themselves around. They had all kinds of tricks. And she continued to grow. As she grew, the stories grew. Well, we were, a family that mom lived over there, dad lived over there. One time she was at the house. She looks up and sees that full moon up in the sky. She thinks to herself, "Oh my goodness, is there a moon at Mama's house?" Well, by the time visitation is over, she returns home and full moon passed. There was no moon at Mama's house. She thought it wasn't fair. One night, in the middle of the night, she took some of that braided weed. She liked to cook on it. She took the braided weed, formed herself a rope, made a lasso, threw that lasso up into the sky, wrapped around the moon. She tugged on the moon, pulled herself up, and took her afro pick, slit the moon in half, and put one side of the moon by her daddy's house, one side of the moon by her mama's house. That's why we have that. She was powerful. But as she got to be about 12 and 13 years old, and me finding out that no matter where I go in the country, there's one thing that we all have in common, especially us adult men. It is just a shame to ever have to walk anywhere and see the underwear of a young man in front of us. There is no sense at all why that should ever occur. If you're not my boy and we're in our room changing because we're getting dressed to go somewhere, I have no need to see your underwear. At all. Being a storyteller, I devised a weapon for us. We have a tool. It was because of my daughter. We were shopping. We were in Target, right? And we were doing our shopping like we do. And she had bought all the things a little girl wants to buy, the leaf press-on fingernails, and a whole bunch of goop to go around her eyes, and goop for her lips, and goop for her face. She had all the goops. And so I told her, I said, okay, look, you just go up to the register, put all that stuff on the register, you pay for it, and here, use the card so you can see how to do that. And I gave her the card, and took the stuff out the basket, and we put it, and she turned around, and she said, "Daddy, I don't want to see that." I said, no, It's not going to be a big thing. It's just the prices are on there, and the electronic scanner will scan it, and the price will come up. And when you see the price, it'll all add together. You'll just pay what the lady says. They're always pretty right. They might be wrong by 10 cents or something like that, but it's no big deal. It'll be, no, I don't want to see that. She leaned her head. Now look. Now in front of her is probably a 16, 17-year-old young fella, about as tall as a young fella could want to be. And because he's this tall and she's about this tall, see, his pants were there were no belly. See, his pants were below the side of the bottom, was exposed, and his underwear was staring her in the face. She said, I don't want to see that. Well, I am that. So I stepped around her and stepped up to the big little fella and I said, hey, big little fella.
What up, dog?
That's my baby girl right there. You know, she's about this high. You standing here for your pants is hauled out, so she's seeing the whole back of your whole back, you know.
My bad. My bad.
And the little fella pulled up his pants and cinched he had a belt. He cinched the belt.
Oh, that dog.
That's great, man. Thank you very much. You know, I gave a pound, almost broke my arm. We finished what we were doing with our little commerce, and we bought everything, put the bags in the basket, carried the basket out to the car, took the bags from the basket, put them in the car, got into the car. My baby said, Daddy, that's all we have to do? I'm like, what? Just ask him. Oh yeah, that worked out okay. I didn't realize how incredibly impressed she was. She said, Daddy, you're a storyteller. Maybe there's a way to make a story about it, and we can spread the word. We don't have to see that anymore. I said, yeah, that's probably something we can do. I'm driving home. Now I'm living on the south side of Chicago. I'm driving a little Volvo, and we're going through the neighborhood. It's summertime. You guys know Volvos, the doggone AC don't work all the time. So there we're going, and we got the windows rolled down. It was an old Volvo. It rolled the windows down. And then we're driving down the street, and as she's coming on, because it's summertime, on the south side of Chicago, nobody has a shirt on, and everybody's pants are right around the middle of their thigh. And she's like, Polama. So she got this rhythm. We got in the house and grabbed the drum, and we started with her rhythm, and we created this set. Pull 'em up, pull your pants up. Why you walk around, let the world see you. Pull 'em up, let me use my imagination. Pull your pants up and get a good education. Pull 'em up, that ain't really cool. You walking around with your pants down at school. Pull 'em up, do your mama know you're walking around letting your underwear show. Pull 'em up, I don't wanna see it, I don't wanna see. Pull 'em up, I don't wanna see it, I don't wanna see. Pull 'em up, I don't wanna see, I don't wanna see. Pull 'em up, I don't wanna see your pants on ground, pants on ground. I walk around, pants on ground, pants on ground, pants on ground. What kind of crazy with pants on ground, pants on ground, pants on ground. I run with the pants on down, pants on ground, pants on ground. Why you got your pants at? Walk around town with your pants below your waist. Think you really cool, but it is a disgrace. I don't really know how you can show your face. Don't know clothes you wear outside represents the race. Pull 'em up, I don't wanna see it, I don't wanna see. Pull 'em up, I don't wanna see, I don't wanna see. Now this is the part where I start introducing you to the call and response, but you're actually gonna sing along with me. You guys know the main part of the song, yeah? Pull 'em up, pull 'em up. So we just gonna sing, you guys keep saying, pull 'em up, 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 pull 'em up. I don't wanna see, I don't wanna see. Pearl is pretty magical. She helps me create stuff. During the holiday season, there is a celebration in the African American community that's known as Kwanzaa. I'd like to spend just a couple of moments sharing some of this culture with you, audience. I better get my microphone, or Blaine is going to be like, man, we were doing great until you put the microphone over there and left it. So let me get this back going on here. It goes down and down. And thank you, Blaine, for inviting me here. You guys give Blaine a hand, please. The invitation began with the Portland Storytelling Guild, and Portland Storytellers invited me. We happened to cross paths because of what's known as the National Storytelling Festival in Jonesboro, Tennessee. And there's an annual gathering where people, it's almost like a mecca. They make their way from all over the country to this plot in Tennessee, this little tiny town, little storytelling village. And right in there, they've got tents, and every tent has a different storyteller, an author, a poet, a ventriloquist, some form of the literary arts that are working. And it's thousands of people that go between this festival weekend. And it's a really fabulous thing. I've been honored to be invited to do a one-week workshop where I can teach the act of creating story or using stories for certain circumstances, situations, and then also to be a presenter on that stage. It's very, very magical, and I'm honored to have had done that. In having done that kind of work, I know that if I can, within a presentation, and this is an audience for it, teach. Kwanzaa. The letters, the K-W-A-N-Z-A-A. It is a celebration of the harvest. The word Kwanzaa means first fruits. And in the celebration of Kwanzaa, it doesn't take the place of Christmas, or it has no desire to compete with any other cultural celebration whatsoever. It is a celebration of African American heritage, African American culture, of peace and unity. There's 7 principles, beginning on the 26th of December and going until the 1st of January. And these 7 principles are unity, self-determination, collective work and responsibility, cooperative economics, purpose, creativity, and faith. And working with those principles during the course of those 7 days, you're setting yourself up for the entire year to meet your goals. Kwanzaa doesn't have necessary gifts, but it's called zawadi. It's not toys, it's material that can help you in the process. For example, I'm a storyteller, so you want to give me to zawadi during that period of time, it's probably a book, or a writing instrument, or paper, or pencil, or a full computer with an Apple with all of it. It's just good stuff, you know. There, during this period of time, is using the Kiswahili language, using the language of probably the most common language of Africa. Within that language, there are some words I'll share, we can share. It's called Jambo, is a greeting that means hello. Say Jambo. Jambo. And the reply usually Si Jambo. Si Jambo. Jambo. Si Jambo. Jambo. Si Jambo. And when you enter into a place, like this is your village, and I'm coming to be a presenter in your village, the call from the audience, from this group, these villagers, would be Akwaba. Akwaba. And the gesture of opening your arms and holding your hands is to show, I have no weapon, and there's nothing about me that is here to harm you. Akwaba. And that means welcome. There's one phrase that is asking the question when you arrive. What's the news? What's new with you? Well, what can you tell me about your situation? It's Habaragani. 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 And when you say Habaragani, you are saying, what's the news? During the 7 days, there are 7 candles. These candles are represented by the colors of red, the black, and the green. Red, black, and green are colors that represent in the African American community the oldest known colors to fly for a group of civilized people. These colors come from the Zinj Empire of ancient Africa. These colors, known as the first colors to fly for civilized people in Zinj Africa, were received by the Honorable Marcus Garvey. Marcus Garvey, his wife Amy Garvey, made an allegiance to these colors for a flag that was called the flag of the UNIA, Universal Negro Improvement Association. This organization tried to help people to have a sense of pride in who they were, but constantly giving the message that if I'm doing well, it's not because you're doing bad, but we're helping ourselves. The better I do, the better you do altogether. And those 7 principles in the Kiswahili language are, I'll say them, you say them back. Umoja, Kujichagulia, Ujima, Ujama, Nia, Kuumba, Imani. We're going to do again. Umoja, unity. Kujichagulia, self-determination. Ujima, collective work and responsibility. Ujama, cooperative economics. Nia, purpose. Kuumba, creativity. Imani, faith. And like with everything, if I put my drum on it, we can say it in rhythm. Is I'll call and response for now. Umoja, Kujichagulia, Ujima, Ujama, Nia, Kuumba, Imani. So, hoping to help celebrate Kwanzaa and following the pattern of the old storytellers, I created this piece we call The Night Before Kwanzaa. Kwanzaa happens beginning the 26th of December to the 1st of January. 'Twas the night before Kwanzaa and all through the hood. Everything was real peaceful. You can say it was all good. Each house had its candles, the wadi, its corn, waiting for the spirit of unity to be born. My family was chilling, all relaxed in the crib. The baby was wearing one of those new I'm baby bills. My mom and my sister, they had on BET, while my uncle was in the back room watching a movie. When all of a sudden I heard a big noise. I looked out my window, it was all of my boys. Well, they were ducking and dodging and running real fast because the local enforcement was after them. I thought to myself, what could the problem be? This is supposed to be a time of peace and unity. Well, you know I couldn't just sit there and wait, so I ran out the back door and I opened the gate. Then Pookie and Ray Ray, Slim Slim, Marvin, Bubba, Marty, all ran in. I closed the gate tight and locked the back door. My boys was all nervous, and through all of their chatter, I said, why were y'all running? And what was the matter? Well, it seemed to be a problem with a man in a red suit. Some packages, some candles, some fruit, and some loot. Apparently, this fat cat, he lost his way while traveling 2 nights for the first Kwanzaa day. Well, the man was all nervous, and he asked for directions, so naturally, my boys, well, they offered protection. He was jollily, happily waving his hands when the neighborhood watch group called the policeman. When the officers came, my boys started to run. When the officers came, my boys didn't even run, because running from the police just isn't any fun. Nobody was hurt, but that ain't the point. Roger was calling and taking him down to the joint. My uncle came in after hearing all this. He said, the man in the red suit represents Christmas. He said in a minute he'd tell us a tale, but first, we had to go get Roger out of jail. We went down to the station and saw the captain at the desk. They brought Raj to the front. My uncle wrote them a check. We went back to the house and parked Grandpa's Mazda, and then we sat in the front row and we talked about Kwanzaa. Uncle said that those colors, red, black, and green, are the most beautiful colors he'd ever seen. Those colors represent more than the blood, land in our face. These colors, they represent the African race. The colors, they came from the Zinj Empire, brought to us by Garvey. They meant to inspire. 7 principles, he told us, that he helped us all learn. He said those words, and then we took our turn. Umoja, Kuji Chakulia, Ujima, Ujama, Nia, Kuumba, Imani. From December 26th until the 1st of the year, Habaragani means what's up. Karamu means good cheer. Well, we talked and we laughed until well in the morning. I felt in my heart like I'd been reborn. We all laid out on the floor. We had blankets and pillows, and just before we fell off to sleep, we blew out those candles before we fell off to sleep. And somebody outside hollered, Habaragani to all, and to all I say peace. The night before Kwanzaa. Thank you guys. That is just about where my head thought I would be. I'm so happy I got to share that, the Kwanzaa story. Is that okay if I tell y'all Kwanzaa stuff? Yeah, it just comes inside me and then it just out my mouth. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? This is a Portland, the last time y'all gonna hear about Kwanzaa, the last time you heard about it was then, the last time you're gonna hear about it was then, you know? But no, it's okay. If we share our culture, if we share who we are, we're making the world a better place. This is called the Ancestors' Drum. Last piece, I promise, because I the song just went, wait, hold on now. No, the Ancestors' Drum. We're connected. We're connected. Ancestors said to play my drum. Play for you this African sound. Find a rhythm you can dance. We're connected to the elements. Somebody say, connected. Ancestors say that I should try to get you to raise your voice up high. Find a message in this song. That's what we do, y'all. This is how we'll get along. Connected like leaves to the tree. Connected like sand to the beach. Connected like stars in the sky. Connected, yes, you and I. Connected like heat from the sun. A hand on a drum. Like birds with wings. Connected, yes, everything. The ancestors said that I should try to get you to raise your voice up high.